All right, back on the morning drive on this Thursday morning. 241-1059 is our number. Of course, tonight will be your monthly city council meeting at the council chambers at City Hall, 5:30. And joining us here in studio this morning to tell us a little bit about what will be discussed tonight, your representative from District 5, Tim Carroll. Tim, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Chris. How are you doing?
Great. Good to see you. And we appreciate you joining us this morning. Always interesting things on the agenda tonight. And one of the things I know you'll be talking about is something that has been in plain view of a lot of folks for a long time, the airplane right there on Ashley Street.
Yes, it is. This is something that started last July. Colonel Roos with Moody Air Force Base contacted the city manager, Larry Hansen, about that aircraft. Moody has developed and is developing an air heritage park out on base. And, of course, the F-86 is a part of that heritage. Mm-hmm. What was unique about it is that the city of Valdosta technically does not own that aircraft. It is on loan to us from the Air Force War Museum. And it was placed there for Major McIntosh, who was killed in that famed rescue attempt back in April of 1980 to rescue the Iran hostages. Mm-hmm. So we're not just dealing with an aircraft, we're dealing with a family, the McIntosh family, because it is placed there for him. So over the last 9 months, between Colonel Roos and Larry Hansen, they've been in contact with the McIntosh family, and everything is being worked out. Obviously, we also had to get hold of the Air Force Museum to make sure it was okay if we moved this. And so tonight, all that's coming together, and tonight we will officially adopt a resolution basically allowing Moody to take the aircraft. They're going to do a great job with it. Yeah. They've got a spot for it. It is in serious need of maintenance, and quite honestly, aircraft maintenance is not necessarily a forte of the city of Valdosta.
But it is the Moody Air Force Base.
Yes. Yeah. So they're going to do all the needed maintenance on it. It'll get a new paint job and get all fixed up, and they've got a nice spot. And there will be obviously a marker for Major McIntosh, so that that tradition will continue.
Well, and that's going to be a perfect fitting place for that. And I know the main concern, I'm sure, of the city during this entire course of events is making sure that the McIntosh family is honored and okay with how everything is going.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting. They've actually, Moody invited them down. They've been out on base.
Oh, great.
They've seen, and I think it's been a very respectful process.
That's great. Well, we're glad that we had it for viewing in the city of Valdosta while we have, and now it'll be at Moody in a perfect place for that. So good work by all to bring that all together tonight at the council meeting. Absolutely.
The other items on tonight's agenda, it's not a super loaded, but there are some things that we have to get done outside of the norm. We will have an Employee of the Month award. Carla Jones with the police department will be receiving that award tonight.
Congratulations, Carla.
We do have a couple of land use cases, which is common on our first meeting of the month. Mm-hmm. The first two are holdovers from last year, involving property right around the corner from your studio here. But the applicant has requested for another postponement. There's some issues with the closings and some things of that nature, and so there has been a request to postpone yet again. Of course, when that happens, the applicant does bear the responsibility of re-advertising so that everybody stays in the loop. We then have a piece of property on Melody Lane that is up for rezoning from residential to residential professional by David Brown. This property immediately to the south of it was rezoned RP about a year ago, and I think we're going to continue to see a little bit of this trend on Melody Lane. Residential professional allows for small offices as well as residential, and I think we'll continue to see that trend down Melody Lane. Then we do have some right-of-way property annexations that we're going to be doing. This is really more housekeeping than anything. Sure. The land we're annexing in is all right of way. It's not private property.
Right.
And it's just cleaning up some areas that are now within the city, and there's parts of them that are still in the county, and we just need to clean that up. And then the last thing on that end of our agenda is an ordinance to amend various chapters of our land development regulations. Now, I will say most of the amendments that we're looking at are directly aimed at item 6A on our agenda, which is consideration of a request to approve a comprehensive standards and specifications manual for the utilities department. That currently, most of that's embedded within the LDR, and we're going to be pulling that from it.
Okay.
So these amendments will do that. Then we have consideration for a historic preservation fund grant. The good news is Miss Emily Conklin with the City of Valdosta, historic planner in our zoning and planning department. She has secured the statewide historic preservation trust training program for all historic preservation planners and elected officials throughout the entire state. It's going to be held here the end of March.
Fantastic.
Yes. We'll have about 100 folks coming in.
Always good.
Good. You got that
Spend the
right.
night, buy something to eat, get some gas while you're here.
Amen, brother. But part of the funding for this is coming from a state grant, but the state grant does require a match from the city. However, the match from the city is all in-kind services. There is no actual money.
Perfect. We can do that.
Oh, absolutely. So we're going to be considering that. Then, under local funding request is, as I mentioned earlier, the request to approve a comprehensive standards and specifications manual for our utilities department. This one caught a little bit of interest back last month when we had our first reading. Like all documents of this nature, there are 2 readings so that the public has full awareness that we have this up and opportunity to weigh in. Many of our local contractors and engineering firms who interface with the utilities department on projects of this nature were very interested in this.
Sure.
Mayor Gale, actually, my hat's off to the mayor. He had been hearing some concerns from some contractors, and we would have adopted this in our last meeting in January, but asked council to allow an additional 2 weeks for some contractors to get together and have one last look at this thing. Though I will tell you that it's been out there for 2 years now.
They've had plenty of time.
They've had literally plenty of time.
Yeah.
But you know how it is. You know, a lot of things, they get busy and you put it off to the side. But everybody's had an opportunity to look at it. I've personally spoken with a few folks, especially some engineers. The engineers love it because it tells them exactly what's got to go in the ground.
And that's what you want.
Yeah.
I mean, you want exact instructions. So.
And the other unique thing about it is this has absolutely nothing to do with private property. This is only utility development, water, sewer, as a for instance, really what we're talking about, but roadways as well, that are going to become under the maintenance and responsibility of the taxpayers, the city of Valdosta. So we're just basically saying if you're going to give it to us to maintain, then this is how you have to build it.
Gotcha.
We've seen some issues where, you know, streets, as a for instance, that weren't built to standard and they degrade quickly. That means they require more maintenance, and sometimes the maintenance can be more expensive. And let's face facts, that maintenance is paid for by taxpayer dollars.
Exactly right.
So we've got that, and then we have of course the aircraft. And then last but not least on that section is a sponsorship of a table at the annual Law Enforcement Appreciation Dinner.
All right. Steaks all around.
Steaks all around. This is for a request for $1,000. We've, from the inception of this program through the Rotary, and my hat's off to the Rotary for this.
Yeah.
This has been a great, great program.
Absolutely.
All the proceeds go towards helping our local law enforcement officers, recognizing the best of them. So it is, in my opinion, a no-brainer.
We should have law enforcement appreciation dinners every Saturday. We appreciate those guys a lot.
Yeah, you better believe it. Then we'll close the night out with boards, commission, authorities, and advisory committees. We have several appointments. 3 openings on our Historic Preservation Commission. We have, I think, 6 applicants. There's 3 slots. 2 of the existing members of the commission have expressed a wish to be reappointed, but 1 has not, so there's clearly an opening there.
Okay.
Then we have an appointment to the Valdosta-Lance County Parks and Recreation Authority. This is to fill the unexpired term of Councilman Yost. Councilman Yost was appointed last December, not this past December, but a year ago.
Right.
And his schedule is such that the meeting pace is a little more than he can handle right now. And so he has felt it's best he roll off and let somebody else come in. We have, I think, 6 applicants for that position.
Okay. Wow, that's great.
Yeah, and then last but not least is an appointment to the Valdosta Lens County Land Bank Authority. The Land Bank Authority, when condemned property comes into control of the local government, it actually goes to the Land Bank Authority.
Okay. So how many openings do you have at the Land Bank Authority?
1.
And how many applicants?
I think we have 4.
4. So, and that's really, I would think anyway, the exception rather than the rule. You have 3 openings on the Historic Preservation Commission, 6 applicants, 1 opening on Parks and Rec, 6 applicants, and then 4 for 1. Sometimes, I know in the past, commissions have to scramble to have people to apply, but not so.
Yeah. We have had a few times in the past, and matter of fact, last year, most recently, where our city clerk, Teresa Bolden, kind of reached out to members of council and said, the deadline's coming, and we don't have any applicants.
Yeah, shake the trees a little bit. So, but that's great that more citizens want to be a part of the process, and that's great to see.
It is, and these are good folks. I mean, it's not like they're compensated for their time, and to be quite honest with you, sometimes you have to make some tough decisions, important decisions, and so when you have volunteers that are willing to step up and do that, I think it just speaks volumes for our community.
Absolutely, it does. So we appreciate all those who applied, and we'll find out who will be appointed to those committees tonight at the City Council meeting at 5:30, of course, at Council Chambers. So, and also the honeymoon period for Mayor Garrell is now over. You gave him January to get broken in, John. Now we get down to real business. So get ready for it, buddy. It's coming your way. So,
well, I will give him this. We recently, the end of January, went to Atlanta for the annual Georgia Municipal Association's Mayor's Day Conference. It's an annual conference that the GMA holds, and opportunity for elected officials to take classes, attend seminars, and meet with state legislators, etc. And Mayor Gale was certainly wowed by that. It is a neat thing to go to, but he took managing meetings and parliamentary procedures, as my memory serves me right, as his first course.
Tonight will be your test, John, so get ready.
So he's putting it to use.
Of course, you can keep up with all of these things and everything going on with the city with their website, valdostacity.com, which is chock full of lots of information. When you talk about board appointments, upcoming events, all this kind of stuff, they do a great job of putting it all on one very easy-to-navigate website. So if you do have a question, it'll tell you who to call, where to go, and all that kind of stuff, and we hope that you do and take advantage of that. And I cannot wait. I have charged Samantha Matthews with making this happen. I think we'll have it done because the contest is going on right now. I believe it's for 6th graders, the Mayor's Essay Contest.
Yes.
And it is going on now. I think the deadline's coming up in March. You can check with your child's teacher or the city. Samantha will be glad to tell you when the deadline is. And we want to have the winning participant on the show with Mayor Gale to read that essay because I'm always fascinated to hear what young people have as an idea of how city government works. And it's probably closer to, there's probably more meat to it that I'm going to give them credit for because I bet they have a lot better idea than I'm going to think that they do. So,
well, having seen this now for 4 years, I will say that you're right. These young folks are quite insightful, and some of them are a little comical, but that's to be expected. Of course, so some of us adults can be a little comical, but
we need a little levity in the meetings. So there's nothing wrong with that at all. So.
But I will say that we have had I think twice now. Local winners of ours go all the way to the state,
which is great,
and that is just fantastic. Speaks again volume for our community.
Maybe a future mayor or councilman among that bunch.
We
hope so.
I am sure,
absolutely so. Well, Tim, good. So let's see a decent agenda again. Early in the year, you got some things that usually happen early in the month, and some things you'll take care of tonight. So starts at 5:30. We're guessing for what about hour 15, you think we'll go that long?
Well, depending on how long Citizens to be Heard goes.
Which is always a crapshoot.
Yeah, I mean, it is.
Yeah.
But I would, if I had to guess, I'm going to guess somewhere between 6:30 and 7.
There you go. Come on by if you are interested in any of the things that Tim discussed this morning. Show up 5:30. It's open to, of course, all public at City Hall Council Chambers. And we'll have a report on the things that do happen tonight on tomorrow's morning drive. So, Tim, good to see you this morning. Thanks so much.
Hey, thank you, Chris.
We appreciate it. It's nice to have experienced professionals here to break the new guy in, so I appreciate that very much. So we'll take a break. We'll tell you about something else going on great downtown, and that's the Valdosta Theater Guild. Their continued performance of Leading Ladies will continue tonight, and we'll be talking to some of the members of the Theater Guild coming up during the second half of this hour, so stay tuned. More of the Morning Drive brought to you by Valdosta Toyota coming up right after this on News Talk 105.9. This is WVGA.